Once I knew that I had to let go of my previous dreams of becoming a communications engineer, now I had no roof on me, which in essence I had no limitations of what I wanted to do. What was initially a 30-day plan funnily has turned out to be 9 years for me, and in reality also I was doing more than what was asked of me, because people would do their job and then leave, but I would stay back and work on all of this stuff. But unfortunately, 6 months into the job, my dad had passed away. The night we go to sleep, I have my dad. Next day morning, I don't have him anymore. And
Yo, what's up, brother?
what's up, Johan? Good to see you.
You too, man?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm so glad to have you on the show. Welcome, everyone. And today I'm so glad to introduce Vinay Aditya, one of my really good friends and someone with an amazing story. Aditya, why don't you introduce yourself to where you are at right now, what do you do now, and then we'll get over the story of how you got to where you are.
Amazing. Hey guys, I'm Vinay Aditya, and I currently live in San Francisco. I work at Uber as a data scientist on a research team, and we do a bunch of research on measurements and brand science especially. And I've been at Uber for 9 years. This is my 9th year now. Also my first job. So I'm just going to share some good tidbits of how I was able to get here in my 9 years of journey, and all the roads that I've taken, and hopefully inform you on what can happen with possibilities of paths you choose and paths you don't choose.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, why don't we start from the very beginning? So you said you've been at Uber for 9 years. When did you start, where, and what was your first job starting off at Uber?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because the answer is not conventional at all. I did my engineering in electronics and computer science, and I was really passionate. I was pretty good at it.
Where was this?
This was in Hyderabad, India, and this was at the state college basically. And although it was not like a fantastic college, it was a tier 2 engineering college, and but I really liked the subject, and I knew for many years that I was kind of born to be an engineer. I was very the way I looked at problems, the way I would solve them, not just coding, but I was more hands-on at that point. But working on electronics and communications, it did expose me to coding and programming a PCB, and using softwares like MATLAB and C++. And that gave me an interest in learning Python, which was not a part of my syllabus at that time. But I still learned it because I really liked Python, and I saw that C and C++ were kind of on a decline of at least the career that I was interested in, and Python definitely seemed cooler because all the packages that you had. So yeah, I finished my engineering, and I was preparing for I wanted to work at the Indian Space Research Institute or the Defense Research Institute. Both of these labs were for radio frequency and communications engineering personnel, and I was preparing for those exams. And during that time, one of my friends had already started working at Uber, and he was on the basically it was called the support side of Uber. It was known as it's kind of like customer service. It was known as a center of excellence. And it seemed cool, like he was having fun, and it was pretty chill, and since he was there, he was my best friend. And while I was preparing for these exams, I saw that most of my friends were already working in some companies, so I thought I'll give it a try. And my company at that time had a 30-day notice period, and so this was the most attractive part for me, that I thought if I interviewed and I got in, maybe I'll just try working at Uber for 30 days and I'll just quit.
And you can finish. Because you're just studying, right? This is just like a side kind of thing.
Exactly. I wanted it to be a side gig, and what was initially a 30-day plan funnily has turned out to be 9 years for me.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that was pretty ironic when now when I think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually
So what happened, starting off in that role and everything? How was it the first few weeks actually when you first started that?
Yeah. So I had interviewed for this role, and I mean, the skills required were good communication, and that you had to have some sort of a degree.
Was it competitive?
It was competitive because it was not just regular customer support. I think it was email support, and and Uber was in its nascent stages at that time, so you had to devise a lot of logics and problem solving involved. So the interview was relatively challenging. This was 9 years ago, so we had like 3 or 4 interviews. But I remember that even in those interviews, I had basically talked a lot about my engineering projects and some device that I had made and had filed like a patent for. It never got approved, but I had.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was, I think, something that caught their attention. Although it was completely irrelevant for the role,
Okay,
they were impressed that I could do something like this.
I guess if I was just a normal person vying for a customer service role, I wouldn't really have a chance against someone with that kind of an engineering pedigree. It kind of makes it.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell the competition or what it takes just to get like a normal, like a normal job where those skills don't really match, but it helps you so much just to get an advantage over other candidates.
Yeah, and thinking of it, I don't think it was anything to do with my skills at that point. It was probably the vibe I was giving off is that I was not too desperate for the job, which allowed me to remain confident and also, talk about the breadth of my skills, which was majorly communication at that time and how you would solve problems.
Yeah.
And not being desperate kind of gave me the edge over the others.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would you say, those skills translated to what you had to do in the job? Like, what did your job look like? Did you enjoy it as well?
Yeah, in the start I was having a lot of fun. It was interesting because my best friend was also there, and the company was very nice. It was a startup at that time, and the experience was great. The kind of problems that they were trying to solve, I had not been interfaced with them before, so I was also learning a lot of stuff. I was learning how the corporate works and how Uber was always a hustle kind of culture. So if there was a problem that needed fixing and nobody was fixing it, and if you noticed it, you can become an owner of that project. You can take ownership and solve that problem. And that kind of a mindset really helped me grow because I was able to identify so many things that needed fixing. And if nobody raised their hand, I would be the first one to go ahead and say, hey, I think this needs fixing, and I'll do it.
Yeah. Wow, that's, I totally forgot 9 years ago, Uber was probably still a small startup with,
it was.
Maybe less than $1 billion valuation even at the time.
Oh yeah, this was all pre-IPO.
Yeah, that's incredible. You forget how quickly these huge companies can explode, from such a small beginning. So, I'm sure they're so happy to have someone like you who's motivated, trying to find projects, trying to find stuff to do, even if you were just in the customer service kind of realm. But I do know that you were only seeing this as like a temporary plan, right? What happened for things to change in your life, and what was the event that changed things that you were telling me about?
Good question. So I was in this job. I was kicking ass. Every day I would go to work, and then on my way back, even on the ride home, I would take my laptop and I would be preparing for my exams. And when I came back home, I would still be preparing for my exams. And I didn't sweat it because I really liked all that stuff, and it was going in a good place. But it was always a means to an end because I wanted to qualify in these exams and become a communications and radio frequency engineer. But unfortunately, 6 months into the job, my dad had passed away, and so this was a pretty drastic change of events in my life, and it threw all my plans away, and I had to kind of step up for my family. And
how much of a shock was it? Was it you saw it coming, or it just came out of nowhere?
No, it was an absolute shocker because my dad was he died pretty young, and he was an extremely fit person. He was a national level boxer in his time, and he always maintained great physique and took care of his health really well. But unfortunately, one morning he had a stroke and he passed away.
And that's just out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
And it just turned things around in my life.
Yeah, yeah. And so what priorities had to go away, and what were the new priorities that suddenly fell into your lap that you had to focus on now?
Yeah, of course. Well, so at that time I was 20, 21, and I was just out of college, 6 months into working a job. And I was actually pretty grateful for the fact that I had a job that, even though it was not too technical, it was still paying me relatively well. And I was always good with my finances. I was thinking about savings and investments and not spending lavishly on things even at that point. So I had a good amount saved, which helped me kind of take care of all the expenses of the funeral, close off some of the loans that we had. My sister and my brother-in-law, they helped me tremendously as well. 'Cause my brother-in-law has been a great support for me, and he pitched in a good amount of money so that we could close the money, any debts that we had. But still, it took a good amount of being focused, and I could not. I didn't have the freedom of spending things that I wanted because there were responsibilities in my lap at that point.
You had to sort out the family affairs, in which there are always numerous when somebody passes away, like that. And,
so because when somebody as important as your father, who's the head of the family, passes away, first, you're not prepared for it, and second of all, my dad died intestate, which means he died without a will. Mm-hmm. And so there were a lot of legal complications that we had to handle. Of where the money, who got whatever insurance money and all of that stuff. This was a tough period of time, but needless to say that I could no longer spend time on preparing for my exams, and I had to take a pause on my dream of becoming a radio frequency and communications engineer. And so I did what I could, which was the best I could at the time, which was to do as well as I can in my current role. And I started really spending all of my extra time at work as well, at Uber, identifying places where I can utilize my technical skills. Because up until now, I was problem solving, I was doing a lot of email support. Then I started looking out for opportunities where I can do analytical work, use my Python skills and math skills.
How, sorry, just to step back a bit, what do you think with the whole shift in priorities and so on, how did that trigger you to spend more time at your current job? Or was that because you already had some momentum built up there and there was an outlet that you could express a lot of things? Was it a distraction or a helpful distraction to pour your energy into other things? What were some of the things or forces in your life at the time that got you to shift focus away from all that into your actual job?
See, so whenever you have dramatic events like this happen in your life, you always fall down to the level of your training. And I believe I was structured well by my parents to handle tough circumstances, because I watched my dad do that all the time. It was never an official training, it was just watching and learning. And my dad set a very good example for me of being helpful, doing things that are not just pertaining to your family, but being helpful to others. Because he's helped so many of his friends' families in times of trouble. He's negotiated with people, worked with so many in such weird circumstances. It is your willpower and your ability to step up and take charge, which is something that I've admired in my dad. And watching him do that time after time for so many years, I felt that kind of came naturally to me. And so stepping up and doing what was necessary in the moment did not feel like a struggle. And for that, I'm like eternally grateful to my dad, because the night we go to sleep, I have my dad. Next day morning, I don't have him anymore. And immediately, tables have turned. I'm now responsible for my mom, my dad, my dog, my grandmom, and my house. And it was not easy to think about it. I had to, I mean, good that I was not in any relationship at that time. And so I was just focused on bringing my family up, making sure that we were financially stable.
Yeah.
And I was willing to do whatever it took.
Yeah. And, you know, that's clearly, you know, duty called, and you were, it was the universe required you to step up. You know, you were thrown into this. And, you know, for those watching, I know you made it sound, you know, almost like it was natural, like it kind of just happened. But, you know, when you're thrown into this where you're required to step up, naturally that will happen a lot of the time where, you know, it's almost like a force overcomes you and you're suddenly able to step up when you're required of it. But it's also doesn't mean it's easy though at the same time, right? So what were some of the things you needed to do to maintain your, you know, your stepping up and your responsibility? What were some difficulties or things you're able to overcome and to keep consistent with that, you know?
Sure. So at that time, I was a 21-year-old guy who had a lot of aspirations, but now also has a lot of responsibilities. And there are times in your life where you might have unfortunate situations like this, and you are thrown into a place where you have no idea what to do. You cannot, there's nobody left to ask questions or ask help for, and you got to figure it out. And in these situations, when you come out of it, or like what you do at these times really builds your character. It shapes your personality. And so you got to make sure that you are focused and you're committed to what you want. And at that time, I didn't have a large goal in mind, because now everything was shaken up. I was just trying to do well at work and be good to my friends. My friends were like a huge support system for me.
You could only look at what was right in front of you immediately at the time.
Yeah, I could only look at my immediate
future. Anything beyond or anything past that, right?
Yeah, and in times like that, when tough times come calling, you need to prioritize what is important to you. So there are things that you can do that give you immediate pleasure, and there are things that are good for you in the long term. And you will be at that juncture many times. When you're in this position where you're in a series of, you know, long tail events, when the odds are against you, you need to recognize that these situations matter a lot, and delayed gratification is something that is extremely pivotal to your journey. Because the more you choose for future events, the more you compromise on, not compromise, it's never a compromise. It's like you're saying no to something that gives you pleasure in the moment for something that will give you pleasure in the long term, right? So this is more of self-discipline.
Like a perspective shift as well.
Yeah, so you stay more self-disciplined. You try staying focused on the betterment of your future, because it's not just you now. On your shoulders is your family.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you leave behind, you come out of this in a really good place.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to do that as well. Everyone, if you're new to the channel, here at SIMVO, we explore life's toughest questions through deep reflections, challenges, and beautiful interviews, all so that we can live life a little better and a little brighter. Let's dive into this video. You know, I can't imagine having to deal with so much for a decent amount of time, you know, to maintain your composure, responsibility, and all that. And on top of all that, the job's not done, because that's just your personal life, right? You know, you're talking about all the projects and stuff you started to engage in at work with Uber, which led you to getting all the way here into the data science position that you're at. So How did a lot of those lessons of responsibility and so on translate to what you were doing at Uber at the time when you were still in customer service, and how did that trigger ideas and desires to move forward in your career in that area?
Yeah. So one muscle that I was really developing in this time period was not giving up and not settling down to what I already have, not giving into comfort, and always trying to do my best and take myself to the next level. Because once I knew that I had to let go of my previous dreams of becoming a communications engineer, now I had no roof on me, which in essence I had no limitations of what I wanted to do, and everything was a wide open field, and I was up for trying everything. This was a habit that I had during my engineering as well, that while I was studying, I was also taking a lot of courses. Coursera actually was extremely helpful for me. I went there and did courses for months on anything that interested me, let it be satellite navigation or PCB components design, even astronomy, because these were fields that interested me. And I was a person who kind of gave importance to things that I liked and wanted to explore it before I said no to something. And that habit kind of translated into my work as well. So I was doing this customer support kind of job, and there were many problems that could be solved, and I had the skill set to solve them. So I noticed that there was a small analytics team inside Uber Hyderabad at that time, and they were doing some pretty cool analytics. And there was also an engineering team, but that was in a different office, so I was not much in touch with them. However, I started working with this analytics team. So I went up to the manager of that team, and I told him that, hey, I'm skilled in Python, and I'm good with math, and I like statistics as well. Are there any P4 projects that I could help on? Any scrub work for you that I could spend some time on? And he gladly agreed to help me out. I mean, I also told him my situation, and he was appreciative of that. And he told me that he's got some projects that his team does not have time to work on, and I could work on that, which was looking back, that was kind of a highlight or like a turning point for me. Because now I was being exposed to different types of analytical work that was actually happening at a multi-million company. But I was working on it beyond my job description. So that basically meant I would do my 8 hours of job and then spend 4 or 5 hours at work doing any analytical work for this team. And that was a commitment I was willing to give. So I was working on that during my travel to and from work, which is roughly 3 hours. And then I would also work 2 more hours extra at work, or 3 more hours. So I would stay up late at work even till like 11 p.m. I didn't care at that point. I wanted to just swim as fast as I could, as much as I could, to come out of that situation and live to my fullest potential, because I knew that I had so much to offer. And working with this team, I built a good rapport, and then I learned that I had to also upskill myself. So for a year, I enrolled myself. I gave an exam and enrolled myself at this college called IIIT Hyderabad in a course called Machine Learning and Statistics program or something like that. And so I was working in the day and studying in the evening, and also going to college on the weekends. I did this for a year, and at the end of it, it was a hard time, because basically you have no time for yourself. You're making money, and you're studying, and you're taking care of your family, and this was the only 3 priorities in my life. I was dodging all the parties, I was not really spending as much time as I wanted to with my friends, and all of these things took a slight hit. But if your friends are good, they'll understand the situation that you're in. And luckily, I had such friends. And while I was in college, upskilling myself, learning from these really renowned professors, then I came back and I could apply a lot of machine learning concepts inside Uber. Now, this was still when my role was not officially an analytics person. So I had to interview for this team. And the first attempt I failed. On the second attempt, I got in.
Okay.
And these were also like spaced out 6-7 months. Because once you interview, you can't interview immediately.
You need like a refractory period to recover.
Exactly.
Yeah. And just before you continue there, you said something that I've seen a lot in many of the people I've interviewed in my own story too, where to get to a new spot or a new place in your career or journey, you will have to dedicate some kind of extra time. This almost seems like a requirement. For me, for example, I studied biochemistry and I graduated with a science degree. And at my first job, I was just an analyst, and I would come home at 5 and then I would learn to code from like 6 to 10 p.m., 5 hours every night. And I did this for about 8 months. You did something similar with your upskilling. And I've seen this so many times again and again. This is just a basic requirement to start your process into this new foray or into this new career for you. But that just gets you in the door. That just gets you an introduction. Let's hear more about what it took to get the actual job or that next step for you from getting to that point now. So, you didn't pass the first interview. What do you think was the problem in that first interview that you didn't pass?
Yeah. We always have this dreamy outlook that, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to crack this interview. But at least in my case, many times it didn't happen that way. And that kind of crushes you because it takes a toll on your confidence saying, oh my God, I spent so much time working and preparing, but I didn't get it. Somebody else beat you to it. But this is actually, it's a defining moment, right? You gotta understand that sure, somebody beat you to it, but that means two things. One, that you didn't sum up, and second, that they were good. So you can be happy for them and work on whatever the gaps were in your interview.
Well, so to sum things up, right? Let's say a year before this, your father passes away, you become the man of the household, you continue your job in customer service. You start working after hours to upskill yourself in in data science and machine learning. You're working with a team and actually doing work for them already, and still you didn't make it past the first interview.
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone seeing that, that's almost like all this work is just, has led to nothing. How did you bounce back from that?
Yeah, it was, there were days where I felt like, oh my God, like, are my skills not enough? It kind of was humiliating to a point. Maybe I felt a little embarrassed too. But after some time, you give yourself time to grieve, but then you have to shake it off. And you do what is necessary to get back to whatever you wanted, because you're not giving up. You don't have the luxury to give up.
Yeah.
That cannot exist in your dictionary anymore.
Yeah.
Giving up, settling down, these are not words that are going to be synonymous with your personality.
Yeah.
When you are in a position where the odds are stacked up against you.
Yeah. I think when you say you have to shake it off, a lot of people right now, if they're in a tough position, will be like, oh, that's easy for you to say, to shake it off like that. But I think what you said about, if you're not in a position where you feel you can do that, you have to be okay with giving yourself time to grieve, for your mind to reset again, so that you can find your position of strength to again shake it off at that point. Sometimes it's just the wrong timing. You have to give yourself that time to wait, to get yourself into a good position to be strong again. So don't feel bad if you need to take a day or two, or probably weeks, even if it's something big, to get back on your feet. So,
absolutely.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
The failures of the interview, failure is only when it's at that time. It can seem like failure means not succeeding in this interview, which is true in its most in the truest sense. But to you gotta change the way you look at failure. If you start disassociating giving up and the event of not succeeding, you will do a lot better. So for me, I started to switch how I viewed not succeeding at these interviews, because they were tough and there was a lot of fierce competition out there, right? So not giving up and getting back at it one more time, doing just one more time, helps a lot. Just that mindset. And soon you will realize that okay, yeah, if you don't give up and if you're still at it, and if you don't look at this outcome as an utter failure or a disaster, it's going to be fine. If not today, you're going to conquer it tomorrow. Because the beauty of it is that it only has to happen once.
Yeah.
You only have to succeed once. You can fail 99 times, but you only have to succeed once.
Yeah.
And when you make peace with that, everything falls in its place.
Yeah, and it can be very hard. I can be the first one to tell you, it can be very hard to feel like it'll never happen. But when it does happen that one time, it's almost like your entire your entire past few years are vindicated just like that.
Yep.
It's a really great feeling. So
And another quick point on that. So when you do succeed, sometimes you're in this. I was a person who did not pay too much attention to my wins, which is also not a good thing. That you have to give yourself the necessary credit when you actually achieve it.
Yeah,
if you don't spend enough, when you do achieve it, take a break. Take a break for a couple of days at least. Let that sink in, because this is a new state you are entering now, and so you finally hit that step function, right? Because you're always going to be on curves, but when you actually win after a long period of time, it's going to be a step function. So you want to sustain that, and you want to let that sink in.
Yeah.
If you don't let that sink in, and you try to get to the next high very quickly,
I think you mean perpetual unhappiness.
Exactly. You're going to be stuck in this loop, and you're not going to feel like enjoying any part of life, because the bottom line, the through line through all of these procedures is that you still have to enjoy. Life is still happening, life is still passing you by.
Yeah.
And if you're just caught between the success and failure loop,
that
you will,
becomes a habit.
you'll never get out of it. You
Yeah.
forget to enjoy, and that's actually the most important part.
Yeah, and people like that, we call them either professionally happy, they don't know how to be happy, and a lot of those reasons is because of what you just explained. So so why don't we go over interview 1 didn't work out, interview 2, you said that worked out initially?
Yeah, so this was for my first official data analyst role. So the first interview didn't work out. 6 months later, I tried it again, and then I succeed.
Okay.
And
sorry, just to understand, how many years of work led to succeeding in that interview? Would you?
Yeah. So at this point,
2?
this was 1 year of studying while working, and then a few months after that, I took my first interview. I failed at that. Then another 5 or 6 months later, I succeeded at the second interview.
So that's almost 2 years.
Yeah, so this was, I've been at Uber for 2 years now, and then that's when I actually become a data analyst.
Okay, cool. So continue on the next path after that. So this is in Hyderabad, right?
This is in Hyderabad, and I was working as a data analyst for roughly 2 years, and in this time, I left no stone unturned. I was really enjoying the field of data analytics. Although the team was doing a lot of querying stuff, which was not super fun, but I understood how it contributed and how querying and writing code in SQL and Hive it's less fun, but it is quintessential to a data science person, right? You need to fetch the data and make sure that the quality of your data is right.
Yeah.
So it's just how the game is. What I did to improve myself was I started reaching out to a lot of managers and staff, data scientists, very senior people in the company, and I would tell them that this was all in the hopes of getting a mentor, right? People who could guide me.
Was this a mentor in any location specifically, or were you still keeping your eyes within where you were at the time? So
there was no data science team in Hyderabad, and so I had to look for people who are in San Francisco, because this was the headquarters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And in the process of finding mentors, I understood how. So this was a new realm of communication for me, because I'm essentially cold texting somebody, right? And I'm asking them, I'm requesting them to kind of guide me through the process, help me learn, and I got better at it. And I was starting to offer the same thing. I understood that if I offer some service to these people, saying I'll do this work for you, whatever is not a priority. And in the process, I'll also learn something from you. That way, people became more open to it. And again, mind you that this was never a part of my job description. So I'm always, in my mind, I'm always doing more than what was asked of me. And in reality, also, I was doing more than what was asked of me, because people would do their jobs and then leave, but I would stay back and work on all of this stuff.
Okay, so this, I imagine, built up your credibility among people in San Francisco.
That is true. Yeah.
And when did you start having thoughts about maybe you can move to San Francisco?
That actually came pretty quickly, because very soon I realized that all the data science teams are in San Francisco, and at the time there were a few in Pittsburgh as well, which was Uber's AV division, autonomous vehicles, and that was also fascinating to me. So I tried to talk to some people over there, but there were no open roles as such. But the data science was mostly happening in San Francisco, and so I built some mentors over here, and over time those relationships helped me a lot. Although it was, they were never directly responsible for me being in this position right now, but having conversations with them, and these are always conversations that I would have late at night. So this was basically me being, because of the time difference, I would stay back at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because my approach to this was, I'm doing this for my improvement, so I don't want to inconvenience somebody else. So I'd still work in their time zone. And I would have like a monthly check-in, share projects that I'm working on, get their perspective on what I can do better. And there was a website called Kaggle. Kaggle has a lot of projects. So I enrolled in competitions, and
how did you start the initial interview process then? How did all of that build up into, I guess, your first interview? Also, how many interviews did you have to go through to finally get your foot into a San Francisco team?
Oh boy.
Maybe I'm skipping a lot of steps here.
So that's the, I mean, I guess in hindsight, that's the interesting and fun part, more interesting than all of the stuff, because for the one interview to succeed, which is where I'm here, I had to fail about 150 times.
That's just crazy to me, because we've spent so much time talking to you getting to where you are now, and then now you're saying, oh boy, this is just the beginning of the story. That's just crazy to me. I can't believe that. So walk me through step one of 150 here. What was the first step here?
This is such a fun journey, because at this point I'm failing so often now, and I've stopped taking the failures seriously.
When you mean failing, you mean the interviews?
Yeah, I'm not failing at every interviews. It's basically I'm applying for this for a job, and what happens is about 50 to 60% of the time the rejection happens immediately, because I was in a different country, and there were visa issues, and this was also when during the 2-year COVID lockdown period. So obviously there's no visa processing happening, and people are not interacting with each other physically as well. So most of my applications get rejected at that level.
Is this to Uber, but also other places as well, or mainly?
Yes. I would say 90% of my applications were within Uber, 10% were outside Uber. But those were even more difficult, because I had to get an H-1B, and people, companies obviously hesitate, because that's a lottery-based system.
Okay, so that's insane. Okay, so how many years did it take for you to get your first interview after applying? Because everything you've talked to until now, all the stuff we've learned, all the stuff all the values you have, I mean, this is what had to have kept you going through these next stages. While you were there, we've talked about all that. So how long until you got that first interview?
Let's see. So the first interview, I was applying for. So 2 years into this data analytics position, that's when I decided that I want to actually move to San Francisco. And I started applying for roles, kept getting rejected at the interview resume screen level itself, because I was in India. The few times that it made through, I realized that I had to had to have more of a factor in my resume. So yes,
Yeah,
I could perfect my
master's or
resume.
PhD or something like that.
Yeah, and I didn't have a master's, neither did I have a PhD. I did have this additional postgraduate diploma.
Yeah, but compared to the typical applicant, it's very difficult.
Exactly.
To make a
The
case for
talent pool
yourself.
over here is ultra competitive, and I mean for good reason. People are
Yeah.
really capable over here. So I had to, add more stuff. I would text messages to the recruiter, tell them about what is it that I bring to the table, how is it that I've learned all of this stuff at Uber, and one of my biggest selling points was that at this point, which was like the fourth year mark in my Uber, I had almost worked with 3 very well defined teams. One was a customer support, but I also developed good expertise working with risk data science and payments data science. And so my breadth of knowledge inside the company was growing, which ultimately became my strong point.
Do you think it got to a point where you had too much breadth to ignore? Would you say that?
Not too much breadth to ignore, but
Like they couldn't.
people
ignore
could
you.
not take me seriously,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
My resume was getting powerful by the
Yeah.
day. Every new application, I would realize what my gaps were and cater it to that role,
Yeah.
and display projects that would be useful for that hiring manager.
Yeah.
Because I did do a lot of projects by this time, both inside Uber and outside Uber.
Yeah.
And so I was crafting my resume in terms of what exactly would be the best fit for this role. Because not every role requires you to have insanely good machine learning models built or the experience in that. Some of them would really appreciate you having deep statistical skills. Some of them would require you to have expertise in experimentation science. So it had to be catered to different jobs.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, after a relentless pursuit, you started getting interviews, I imagine. Did you pass your first interview? Is that it? You just needed one opportunity to be interviewed and then you got the job?
No. So as I said, I was getting rejected like 50-60% of the time because of my visa status. But the ones that I did get through, sometimes I would fail in the technical phone screen round because I didn't sum up. Or sometimes I cleared those and then got rejected at some other technical round or a hiring manager round. There was one instance where I think I did really well in all the interviews, but the hiring manager was not confident about the timelines of me moving from Hyderabad to San Francisco.
It seems like you've had every possible interview, performance, and experience and results that you could imagine.
And all of these failures over such a long period of time gave me a very rounded understanding of the entire interview process and how different teams at Uber work. Because while I was interviewing for different teams, I was also preparing for that team, which expanded my breadth of knowledge about that team's functionality and how it contributes to Uber. So ultimately, when it was my time, the team that I was being hired into, which currently has a lot of PhDs, it's a very academic team, I would say. A lot of PhDs, almost everybody has a master's for sure. The org head is the chief economist of Uber. And so there's a level of skill required. And I was somebody who had a bachelor's degree and a postgraduate diploma. So for me to be here was an oddity. But I was able to get through those interviews because of the expertise that I had built and the capabilities I had built.
Your relentless journey as well, I have to say. That's the most relentless journey I've probably ever heard from anyone I know, dude. So really congratulations. So, I think to close things off, you made it there, then you moved to San Francisco. So this was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I moved here in 2022, so it's been 3 years now.
Great. And you've made it here, and you're just telling me how we can look back on this whole journey and take things for granted, where we are at this moment. How has that whole thing felt for you, kind of looking back now, being here for 4 years, having a completely different life than you did 8 years ago? How does this all fit in your worldview now?
So once you, so there's, it's like two parts of the journey. So one is the ascent, which was all of those 5 or 6 years that I was working really hard with a lot of turbulence, and then kind to reorient myself to get to this position. And then the big day comes, and I get where I want to, and I'm in San Francisco. And oh yeah, so at this point, life feels amazing. You're in this fantastic city, so many beautiful places to visit. You're in a new country altogether,
Yeah.
and I'm with my girlfriend as well now. So things start feeling really good, but probably because of the journey that I've come through and the the tough situations that I faced and the hardship that was there, I could never forget all of those crucial times that have led me to this day. And for me now to continually feel good about my life and the success that I've had, and the fact that I am doing well right now, and that I am on par with every other person who's here and who's done a PhD or masters. I mean, I'm not probably. I don't want to say that I'm the best at what I do. Sorry, I am the best at what I do, but there's so many other people as well who are also good, and I'm in competition with them. But to be happy and to feel good about all of this, I've developed some practices that keep me grounded. Like, every day in the morning, I meditate. I take out 5 minutes to write down everything that I'm grateful for, and this is all on an app, and so it's all easily trackable. And I have a series of habits, a series of tasks that I perform sequentially in a half an hour, 40-minute period. So these include some quick workouts, meditation, gratitude, journaling. These things really keep me grounded, and remembering where I started, appreciating all the effort that my dad put in, that my mom put in, and all the effort that was done even before I came into existence. And the fact that I'm standing on their shoulders and the people before them, that is something that I feel is super essential for understanding that you've done well and to sustain that. Because once you've reached your goal, what next? You want to sustain it, right? You want to be in that position for as long as you can, and also get better. So it's important that you don't forget all of those hardships, and you be grateful for what you have right now.
Yeah.
Because everything is fleeting. I might just not have any of this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, because today I feel like I appreciate what I have right now, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think honestly, like, you should be really proud of yourself. I know your family is really proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you as your friend. I'm so grateful I have such a great friend like you. And I think those watching have taken so much from your journey, and where you are now, and how you see life in general. And I think one thing that we haven't talked about is throughout this whole thing, or your whole life, you've also managed to become such a great tennis player too.
Yeah.
And I think it's time that we switch the subject to the rest of the video, which is tennis. So I'll see you guys on the court for our challenge in a little bit. Now time for our tennis section. I'm here to challenge my big man Vinay. You ready for this?
Let's go.
So we're here at McLaren Park, actually, where they had the Laver Cup training grounds. Federer played right behind you, if you want to turn around and check it out. Right there with those bleachers.
Roger Federer was here inaugurating the newly renovated courts and playing with some kids for the YMCA Foundation.
Yep, so we are standing on some talented ground. So the format is going to be best of 3 tie breaks to 10 with serving. If we make it to the 3rd tie break, it'll be just a tie break to 7. And now let's see who serves. So I'm going to flip my thing up or down.
Up.
It is down.
All right.
So I'll serve first. Quickly before we start, let's talk some strategy. So this guy has a crazy serve, so I'm gonna need to be dialed on returning that first serve, and then once that kind of point starts, play the point, get into a position where I'm not on the defense anymore because he's very aggressive, and then work the point from there. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on.
Awesome.
What about you, Vinay?
John's got crazy legs. He's going to run after every single ball, and I know that. So I'm going to try and beat him at his own strategy, keep him running, and play aggressive.
Cool. I like to run, so that sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
All right, good stuff, man. May the best man win. Bad start, as usual. There we go. Just like we drew it up.
Go on, John.
You like that running? Gotta make sure I get this circle.
Come on.
No way. Oh, I got jammed up there. 6-2. Oh, I did everything right there too. Oh, nice serve. And just pressuring him while he's still not warm. It's gonna work out. See, the thing with tennis is sometimes you want to hit hard. That's not the way to win. I'm just cooking so much. What can I say? Was it 9-3?
4-9.
Oh, it's 4-9? Oh, no way, I'm sorry. Oh, that was wide, right? All right.
How are you feeling, John?
I feel good. I feel quite dialed today, honestly. I think it's one of those days.
You look good too on the court.
Yeah, my return has been really spot on, I have to say. Like, return's been good. Speed's been good. Yeah, no complaints really. I think it's just one of those days. Very different from when I played my coach Mike last video.
Nice.
But also, I think there's also nerves maybe for you. How are you feeling?
I'm still getting used to the court. I thought my serves were picking up in the second half of the tiebreak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope to do more damage in this set.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just going to keep on staying focused, pick the battles, don't try to go for too much. Mm-hmm. Just do my thing, run like I like to do.
Nice.
Any changes for you?
Yeah, you got me there on that one point.
I did, yeah. I think that was all positioning and anticipation. When you kind of guess right where someone's going, then you're pretty much there, and you have enough time to execute on that shot. So
Nice.
that wasn't on purpose, though. That was a lucky love, I have to say. So
Very nice.
cool. But let's play the next match. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right. Round 2. Yeah. Nice serve.
Nay,
All right, I'll take that.
easy.
Oh no. I didn't really have an opportunity to go for anything much that rally, but we still on the point. Play dialing for this moment. Should be at a good advantage. Ooh, just wide. Uh, 3-1. It's just too good. Nice serve. Just too fast. 3-2.
Yeah.
I lost track of the ball there.
Oh, Lord.
Textbook point there. Textbook John Namchi. Let's go. It's 3-4.
Yeah.
Oh, nice shot, nice shot. First serve.
What's up, right?
One. No way. It's just unlucky.
4-5.
Yeah. Take that. Okay, 6-5. Hey, stay in. Seven, 5. That was just too good. That was a really good return. All right, 2 more points. I'm getting lucky. Sorry, man, that was a bad shot. All right, match point right here. I guess we can afford to go crazy for one shot. Vinay, that's half the battle. If he doesn't get his first serve in. Nice. 7-9?
Yeah.
Just too good. That's too good. Nice shot. Ah, that's out. No way.
Come on.
Hey, what a shot. 9-0. Right on the line. All right, right down to the wire now. All right, I'll take that. No. All right, 10-0.
That was out?
Yeah, sorry, bro. Well done. Oh my, 11-0. Can't close out this match. Oh, so close. Good save. Good serve. Oh, good serve. All right, 12-13. Let's go. That's perfect. 13-14. Let's go.
Good one, John.
That was a grind. And you kind of gave that to me, but good match, dude.
Nice play, man.
Good match, man. Good stuff.
All right, John,
All
you
right,
got
man.
me there.
2-0.
Good match.
Second tiebreak was definitely a lot closer.
Yeah, 15-13. Almost had you.
You almost had me there, and for me, I think I was struggling to close out the set or the tiebreak. I had like 3 game points there, and then you came back, and then another 4 that I wasn't able to convert. Honestly, during those times I was really nervous and just trying not to miss, so that's definitely something to work on for next time, learning to close out your points, keep the courage and maintain that to really see whatever it is you're going through. So yeah, how was that for you?
Yeah, I thought you did a great job in the crucial point, because like every point was almost a match point, and
Yeah,
you held your composure, which was really good.
yeah.
I was trying to get some good points there, get you in the rally, and then take some good shots. It worked in a few places, but it didn't work in most.
Well, I really had to push the envelope there to to keep you on your toes and make you hit a good shot every single time.
Yeah, the serves were trying to be there, but
I'm glad to get the revenge on you after our last match, though. So yeah,
Yeah, the last
cool.
3 matches have been
Yeah, I know. So now I'm back. We'll see about the next one. But good playing with you, man.
for sure, dude. Always
stuff.
a good time.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your story as well and everything. That was great to hear. I hope you guys liked it too.
Awesome.
And I'll see you guys in the next video.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for joining me today on SIMVO. I hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently or gave you a new perspective on life. If it did, definitely let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more interviews, challenges, and deep reflections, all so that we can learn to be better people every day.